Welcome everyone to ModGolf Live. This is the last show we're doing of 2024. We started this back in May, done it almost every single week. So done, almost 30 ModGolf Live shows. And I'm just getting started here. I just love doing this. Lots to look forward to in 2025. But yeah, we're going to finish strong today. In a way, it's a little bit of early New Year's resolutions. I don't like to call them resolutions. We're going to call them intentions of what we're going to do. And myself, I'm part of this too with you on this journey. And I love to golf. I just turned 60 this year. I can't actually believe that actually happened, but I guess you can tell from the white in the beard here. That's kind of easy to imagine that happened. But hey, I love playing golf. I still truly believe my best golf is still in front of me here. I do my best to stay active, consider myself as kind of a moderately or better active person between what I do, whether it's hot yoga, going out for a run, riding my bike, doing some weight training, all those things. So staying active in that way, because hey, the body we have here is the best asset we have. So today we're going to finish, like I said, bit of a early New Year's intention, if you will, and we're going to talk about golf fitness and how you can improve strength, endurance, flexibility, all those good things. And joining us today, I'm not going to tell you about that because that is not my area of expertise. I'm just some architect that actually fell into the golf industry 10 years ago and absolutely love what I'm doing here with you guys now. But I have a golf physiotherapist and fitness trainer, and that is Billy Troy, who is joining us from Australia today. So we're going to have him on in a second here. But before we do that, to close the show off for the year, we're going to do what we've done every single week. We're going to do our Monday morning musings, even though it's not mornings. Yeah, I should have changed that because it's Monday evening here. It's a little different. Usually we do it at 9 a.m. Pacific time because I'm in Vancouver, Canada here. But if I did that with Billy, that would be, I think, like 4 in the morning or 3 in the morning. That would be like so cruel. I would not do that. So we're doing it in the evening, something a little bit different here. So at least it's a little bit sensitive or sensible for Billy here. I think it's still mid-morning for him. And it's already Christmas Eve for him because they're a day ahead. So yeah, we are truly global. We're a universal thing here with ModGolf. So a couple things I wanted to talk about here. One was super excited as far as the last episode that we released, the last one for the year, and that was with Clive Mayhew, who also is Australian. I don't know what's going on. We're just inundated by all these Australians here that are taking over ModGolf here, one show at a time here. I see a pattern here. Maybe they're conspiring against us here. I don't quite know what's going on. But hey, we talked about how AI is transforming the golf industry, what they are doing with golf.ai. Awesome conversation I had with Clive, very enlightening, very engaging, also on the YouTube channel and also on the podcast. So different conversation in each one of those. The fun thing with that on the YouTube channel is Clive did something a little cheeky. He didn't tell me about it until I found out on the show. He has what they call virtual assistants or golf assistants on golf.ai, where someone could be, whether it's a kind of a crusty old Scottish groundskeeper, that's the guy that's answering your questions with his voice, or a long drive competitor from the US, or some awesome woman golfer. He's got about 6 or 7 of those. And he actually took my voice and created an avatar for that. I'm a little concerned that maybe I'm going to be obsolete next week or maybe with 2025. The fact that now Clive can generate not only questions and responses, but entire podcasts now using my voice. So it's kind of awesome, yet a bit frightening at the same time, but we'll see where that goes. But with what he did there and on the show with on the YouTube channel, we actually kicked the tires. We actually asked golf.ai some questions there and responded using my voice. So that was kind of cool. So other things that happened the last week here. I know it's they call it silly season for golf right now. Some things going on just before Christmas. There was the showdown between Brooks and Bryson and Rory and Scotty. I didn't watch this, and I'm glad I didn't, because from what I've heard, it was a bit, how can we put it politely, a little underwhelming. So it sounds like they still need some work to do as far as manufacturing some rivalry and making something more compelling. You know, golf's getting better at it, but there's still some room to grow. And the one thing in January, I think first week of January, the first Monday, is also with Rory and Tiger with their company and with TGL with what they're creating, the indoor golf league with teams. So it's into it. playing into a simulator. So it's this hybrid that they're hitting into this jumbo simulator with a crowd there. And then they turn around and they actually got real chipping and putting there for the short game. So I'm definitely going to be watching that because we've been working on some things, some ventures. Well, even 10 years ago, the first thing we ever created was ripped links. And that was kind of a version of what they're doing. Not that I'm saying they stole what we did, but I like to think that they were inspired by what we created 10 years ago there. Okay, there we have it. So there's my Monday evening musings, I guess. Well, I guess it's morning for Billy there. So we're just going to stick with the Monday morning musings there. So also want to wish everyone happy holidays. Here we go. Put this on for a little bit there. All right. So yeah, happy holidays. Merry Christmas. However you're celebrating. I hope you have an enjoyable, relaxing time with your friends and your family over the next couple of weeks because, you know, we all work hard. We all need a bit of a break. And, well, in fact, maybe it'll give me a chance to actually focus more on my fitness and my fitness goals for 2025. And I have just the right gentleman here to help us out with that. And that is Billy Troy. And there he is. Billy, welcome to ModGolf Live.
Colin, absolute pleasure, mate. I appreciate the introduction. I love the enthusiasm and the energy. So we're going to get into it today.
We certainly are. So you are joining us from Brisbane. Is that correct?
I do live in Brisbane. I'm currently in the Central Coast, which is closer to Sydney, where my parents live, just for a few days. Again, it's festive season here. I haven't got my hat on. I've got my Christmas pom-pom, though. So I'm half here to the party.
The Christmas pom-pom. I like it. I like it. All right. So, well, it looks like it's blindingly sunny there. It is midsummer there. So let's start with that before we dig at all the good things that you're doing with golf fitness. What is it like to celebrate Christmas when it's the middle of summer? Or do you not know anything different? That's kind of a natural thing for you, maybe.
Yeah, I guess it's just like the way we've been brought up. But like historically, Christmas for us is barbecue, cold prawns, or you might call them shrimp in your part of the
Yeah.
world, cold beer. So a lot of nice luxuries to have. But in saying that, I did live in UK for a couple of years, so Christmas was very dissimilar to that. It was the mulled wine. You buy a fireplace. So I've had that sort of northern hemisphere culture as well. But yeah, that's the way we've grown up.
Nice, nice. Hey, before I forget here, I do want to mention we've got some people that have joined us already. We've really encouraged some people to do that here because this is a live and interactive show. And I can ask questions all day here in the 30 or 40 minutes I have with Billy here. But hey, this is a chance for anyone out there. You want to ask your fitness questions, ask Billy. He's here to answer anything you have to ask in that particular area of expertise. So yeah, also we got the live chat going. You see, I already put that on there, and I encourage you to let us know where you're joining us from here and say hello. So yeah, going to get that going here. And if you ask any questions, I will also pull them up right on screen here. So don't be shy, everybody. Just put it out there. Ask us some questions here. Okay, so why don't we start with this, Billy? So can you give us an overview of your background in golf physiotherapy and fitness training, and how did you get involved with helping golfers improve their golf game and fitness? So yeah, tell us the backstory of how we ended up here having this conversation today.
Yeah, I guess long story short, I've always loved sport and played multiple different sports as a young kid. And then I did a physiotherapy degree, and then I started playing a little bit more golf. But before that, I was juggling 3 or 4 different jobs through uni, just trying to make a few dollars while studying. And then I had a bit more time for golf, and I thought, well, I love my golf. I love physio, and I'm a bit of a perfectionist as well. So I thought I need to really try and create a niche. And then I started to see a local golf pro that I was working with as a client, and then he would refer me a couple more clients, and then that started to grow. And it got to the point I thought I need to really upskill myself in this niche, and obviously really enjoying it as well. It really encouraged me to seek out more information. So then I went across to America in Chicago, 2017. This is now, did my TPI certification, and since then it's just gradually grown organically to a point where now it's my full-time career. Mainly work with clients online. 80% of my business is online, and then seeing clients face to face in Brisbane and also the Gold Coast in Queensland. So that's the short story of it there, Colin.
Love that. Love that. Okay, so we want to give maximum value for everyone that's watching, whether it's live here today or the great thing too. Also, we'll be posting this and promoting this through the ModGolf YouTube channel, and wanting to get lots of people involved and reach out to you. Because I believe we're going to do a fun little thing here that you've offered, and I mentioned this, that our Patreon, as you can see in the bottom of the screen there. So the golf community that we've been building with ModGolf since the middle of the summer here. And we've got over 100 people that are part of that and connecting everybody together there. And the other bonus is also creating these exclusive, some exclusive content and also giveaways. People love free stuff. And I believe you've offered a half-hour consultation with someone. And that is, they got to join us here, though, in order to get that. But even besides that, we're going to let them know all the good things with Golf Physio Australia that you are doing. So let's start off with the benefits people can get out of there. Why don't we use, I don't know, me as a persona here, as someone that we can kick the tires with here. And what I did, I went on to your Golf Physiotherapy Australia website, and there we go. We got the URL for that there, which I will include in the chat also for people so they can easily access that. So I went on to your website and I saw that you had a free 10-day fitness, we call it test or lessons that you would have there. And a training program, I'm sorry, is what I should be calling that there. So I signed up a couple of days ago. I've already finished day 3 there. I'm committed. I've done it 3 days in a row. I got a streak going there. So there, not that I'm looking for, you know, you to pat me on the back, but feel free to do so there, Billy, because
well done.
Thanks. Yeah, not that I pandered to you at all there by putting it that way. So what I'm going to do here, Billy, I'm going to share the screen here with and pull up this, and we can run through this. So I think this will give us an opportunity that you can then talk against us. So what I did, like I said, you can see I've signed up for the 10-day mobility program, and be honest, when I first signed up, even though you explained it very well, I thought, gosh, this is going to be one thing that's going to be all this stuff right out of the gate. But I love what you've done here. You're starting slow and just making it so that people can then slowly ease into something, especially for people that have been more sedentary. Perhaps they just go out and play golf, and then of course they're sore afterwards, whether it's their back or their entire bodies, and all the things that you deal with on a daily basis. So love this. You can see you've got the first 7 days or so. We can kind of see on screen here. We'll go through these in a little bit, but here, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you've created this with the 10-day mobility program, and then overarching all the good things that you are doing, that you're offering all of your clients from. I believe you've got elite level professional golfers all the way down to recreational weekend warriors like myself. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do and why you do it?
Yeah, definitely. I'll start with my clientele that I typically see first. And like you said, there's a big mix of clients. I'd say typically I work with clients similar to you, Colin. Weekend warriors love their golf between probably the ages of 35 and 70. That'd be the majority of my clients. And then I've got some professional clients around the world, and mainly in the Australian tour here as well, and also some elite juniors coming through. But the main reason I do it, again, being a young kid, I just loved fitness. I've been going to the gym since I've been 14, just continuously. And I can't get my head around why people wouldn't go. So I guess for me, I do think there's a big purpose. I don't want to get too spiritual on you here, Colin, but I do feel like I've got a big purpose to try and push fitness and health, because I see so many benefits from it, and I can't see myself ever stopping that. And when I can attach a hobby like golf to that, I find people are so much more motivated, and they're so much more attached to it. So this 10-day mobility program, this is something I designed probably getting on 2 years, which has gone incredibly quick. And I thought I want to give people a taste of how online training works. I want to give them some value. I'm big on that with my audience, just give people as much as I can within my time constraints. And the hope is that they get some sort of benefit from it. And as you've been experiencing it, it's a really light start to get people moving in the right direction. And I get a lot of messages, people saying, "Oh, this has really helped my ex pain," or "This has really helped me gain a few yards," and a myriad of other different compliments, which has been great. I haven't been yelled at or abused yet, so that's a positive sign. So
Congratulations, well done.
Thank you. So yeah, it's a really good entry level to what people can expect with my programs, and also selfishly as well, it's a great tool to get people working with me. A lot of people tend to start with a free trial, and then later down the track, sometimes they'll reach out and join a custom-made program with me. So yeah, it serves a couple of different purposes there.
Yeah, and what I love about what you're doing, a little bit different than some of the other people in organizations and platforms in the golf fitness space. And I've I go to the PGA show in Orlando, Florida every January. I'll be heading there in about 4 weeks' time. And every year, the fitness area grows and grows and grows and expands, which is a great thing for you. So it seems like the pie keeps getting bigger and bigger. And then you've got a lot of different apps out there. You've got a lot of different platforms and different, even different tools out there for training and different programs. So you tell me. I think that's a great thing. It seems like that isn't even competition for you. It's raising awareness and increasing the kind of the size of the potential client market for you. Are you seeing that? What you see not only in Australia, but the fact that people can tap into you anywhere around the world at any time, which is amazing. So tell us a bit about your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think it's tremendous, and it is growing. It's growing a huge amount. And when I first started promoting golf fitness, I'd often get like a couple of sly remarks, or people would really question, what does a golf physio actually do?
Right.
And I would explain it to friends or people that I'd meet at the golf club. And now it's really a thing. People are very aware of it. And even if you watch the first season of Full Swing on Netflix,
Right.
you saw how much of the professionals were in the gym training. And what's slowly starting to happen, success leaves clues, in my opinion. So a lot of the people that are playing on weekends are saying, well, if Scotty Scheffler, Rory, all of these elite players are in the gym, maybe I should consider that as well. And in your introduction to this podcast, you said your body is your biggest asset, and I'm a huge believer in that. And a lot of the people that will begin working with me, they've spent a huge amount of money on equipment, maybe lessons, all these other assets in their golf game, but they've really forgotten themselves. That's typically the last thing they'll invest in. So I'm trying to get people to reverse that thought pattern, because my belief is if you have a good physical skill set, a good swing technique, and good mental strength and mental skills, your golf game is going to be much better off in the long run.
So when you mentioned those criteria and factors there, the one thing I haven't mastered yet is a repeatable golf swing. See, I didn't grow up playing golf. I wasn't around golf at all. I played a lot of team sports competitively. No one in my family played golf. So I was one of those guys, and you can see there's enough gray in here that there was no YouTube and there was no one to help me out. So I was one of those guys that I could not aim far enough left because my banana slice was so bad. So I've had thousands and thousands of swings that I've had to try to remove through muscle memory, which is still painful, which in some ways I wish I never picked up the game until I actually learned how to swing the club properly. So the thing that inspires me, though, is the fact that my swing is getting better, that golf is this beautiful game, and why it's so popular. I don't know if you know this stat in Canada here, 40 million people in Canada, over 6 million recreational golfers, more recreational golfers per capita than any other country in the world. And the reason, I'm sure that's not lost on you, Billy, is the fact it's the sport. You can pick it up at 65 or 70 years old and you don't age out. It just becomes a little bit different for you and how well you actually keep your body maintained so you can play all the way through until the day you're no longer here on the planet. As compared to, I played basketball quite competitively. I was joking around with my daughter the other day that I used to be able to dunk a basketball. I don't think I could even touch the rim anymore, which is demoralizing, right? So there's certain sports that, yeah, you peak out in your kind of late teens, early 20s, and that's kind of the pinnacle. But golf has this beautiful ability to have people play and enjoy it all through their life and gain the fitness benefits, or even just getting out there and getting 10 to 15,000 steps in every time they're doing out there. And I'm sure you deal with this every single day as far as the agility, the core strength, the hand-eye coordination, even just thinking your way through the course as far as the whole kind of the neural pathways that are firing when you're out there for 4.5 hours or so. So I want to ask you this. I want to start with, once again, using someone around my age. And I want to talk about women too. Hopefully you've got some women that you have as clients. So I'd like to hear that perspective, if there's kind of a slightly different approach you have with women as compared to men. But hold off on that one a second. So do want to ask you, since golf is this unique sport when it comes to fitness, Billy, so what are the most common physical challenges you see that come across kind of your desk that golfers face regardless of their age or skill level? So what's kind of the low-hanging fruit of the things that or one or two things that you can change or need to focus on first in order to kind of, to sequence things?
Yeah, and I know you like things in threes, Colin, based on
Yeah.
our introductory email. So I'll give you three to focus on and
Nice.
for your audience as well. So Again, I've screened hundreds of golfers over the years, so gone through these assessments, and there's very often a pattern that appears in a lot of people. Not to say everyone's the same, but again, let's talk about the clientele, the male at around 60, give or take some years. So the biggest thing I typically see, number one, is the lack of rotation towards the target. So if you're a right-hander, that's the lack of left hip rotation and lack of chest rotation as well. So the ability our torso can turn. And I believe because golf is such a one-sided sport, we're forever trying to complete our backswings. So our
Right.
rotation to the right gets really good and strong for the most part. But then our follow through for a lot of us, it just happens. So the arms will flip over, but we're not actually getting that body rotation at all, which is going to rob us of a lot of speed and also a lot of strike consistency as well. Whereas for the professionals, you see their impact position, their body is opening fully. They get that shaft leaning forward, and they'll
Yes.
get their weight transferring to the target as well. So that's number one. Number two, I'll say, is core endurance. So if you're at home listening at the moment, maybe you can do it during the episode, is jump down there and do a plank for 90 seconds and see if you can hold that. And that's the easy test I'll tell my clients. Then you need to do it on each side for 90 seconds. So that's a single arm plank,
Yes.
lying on your side, trying to keep your posture. And that's a big one I see people really struggle with. And with core strength, there's a pretty good correlation with reduced back pain incidents as well. And we know with golfers, 50% of us will get back pain at one time if you're a golfer. So in a four ball, 50% of you have had back pain, or two of you have had back pain at one point. So that's a huge one I see. And then lastly would be the lack of power. A lot of clients around your demographic are typically working in jobs behind a desk. That would be the majority of clients I see, business people. And what happens then is, because we're not training or not using the power, that will typically reduce over time. And if you're a PGA Tour athlete, they can jump 22 inches off the ground. That's where they get that tremendous vertical force to really put lag and force into the club. Most of my clients, I'll see them perform a jump, and they're roughly half of that a lot of the time.
Right.
So they're the three big things I see.
Got it. Got it. So, as far as injury prevention, or when you first have a client come in, what are you seeing as some kind of the things, because whether the fitness, whether it's strength, or maybe it's even because they're not doing resistance training, so they're starting to lose bone density and not only muscle strength. So what are you seeing as some of the common injuries that also, that through your program, that over time you can kind of help either eliminate or at least reduce the impact of?
Yeah, definitely. And I might break it down into overuse injuries. That's typically what we'll see in golf. And
Mm,
overuse is essentially a lower back tightness that will develop worse over time. It might be a golfer's elbow, or a tennis elbow injury, or maybe it's a tendon injury to your shoulder. So we'll just put that as a broad category: overuse injuries or chronic injuries. So typically, these injuries, why they happen, I'd say number one is the structure of their golf and of their training. So typically, I'll see these injuries flare up when people go on a golfing holiday with their buddies.
right.
They'll play 4 or 5 days in a row,
Yeah.
and they're just not physically prepared for it. And quite commonly, they'll take some anti-inflammatories with them. They might be loaded with a couple of pints of beer as well,
Right. They
and they
wash it
just
down. Yep.
and they'll just cross their fingers. So I'll either see them before this trip, a month before, when they say I need to get ready, or a month after when they've had something that's flared up. So that's number one, is having a consistent training load. So if you're playing golf once or twice a week, you don't want to double that, for instance.
Mm,
As soon as you start to push your training load up about 30% within a month, the injury rates just skyrocket. So if you play once a week, then you double that. That's a doubling of 200% increase, obviously. So that's number one. Number two, I'd say some swing characteristics. For back pain, it's the dreaded early extension, where we're getting closer to the ball in the impact position.
right.
Our lower, our lower back starts to arch. If you're a right hander, your right shoulder starts to go closer towards your hip. And it
Hmm.
really just narrows the space between those tissues, and it creates a compressive effect. And if you're a golfer, with every swing, it's 7 times your body weight that gets put upon your spine with all the forces that are combined. And
Wow.
being an architect and in engineering, you'll probably appreciate how forces work. So that's a huge thing. And then lastly, it's probably flexibility, because that will lean itself into certain swing positions. People will compensate for that. And
Yes.
then also when it comes to technical proficiency, there's not many players on tour that have a really poor technique, because either their scoring isn't improving, or they get injured before they get on tour. So that's another big reason.
Well, you've got guys like, well, Bernhard Langer, who just won that PNC with his son. All kinds of online chatter. The fact he was playing from the front tees. Apparently, he's playing less distance than Tiger's son Charlie was. It's like, really? Come on. But and he's still hitting at 275 yards on average off the tee. I think he's 67, 68 years old. And guys like Gary Player. So those two, and Gary's what, in his early 80s now or something like that? And he's like a fitness, how do I want to put it? I want to say aficionado, I guess the best way to put it. Like there's a guy that moves his body every single day. So what do those two guys teach us about what we should be doing as we get older and we want our golf game not to decline, but at least stay the same, if not actually get stronger over years?
Yeah, I think they teach us a lot about, firstly, consistency.
Mm,
So it's just the reps over time. And also they teach us this common myth that when you get older, your body becomes disheveled and it becomes a shell of itself. And that's the common myth that I hear people come to the clinic with. And don't get me wrong, we are fighting against age. Typically our growth hormones will start to change. You mentioned female clients before. They'll go through menopause where their bone density starts to reduce, their
yes.
testosterone drops, their muscular structure starts to change quite rapidly as well. So what exercise does, it combats that. And I'm a really big believer in what you do makes you old, not necessarily your age makes you old. So
I
let's
like
say,
that.
for example, Gary, because he's in the gym, he's doing all these exercises, he's doing his stretching, he can combat this aging effect. Same with
Mm,
Bernard Langer, Freddie Couples. A lot of these guys I refer to, and I'm glad that you brought them up, Colin. I refer to these people quite a lot as examples, because they are the people that you should be aiming towards, not the people that are resting from a lot of these sports. So my advice for a lot of clients is make sure you can pick an exercise routine that you can manage for a long period of time. You don't want to jump on a bandwagon and just go head in. You want to really put your toes in the water, gradually increase the intensity over time, be consistent with it, and you'll get some fantastic results. And in my app that you mentioned before, my private clients, we have a community group. So
mm.
every week we have our Wednesday wins that we share, and it's my favorite day of the week, because it really gives me a lot of gratitude for what I do, and people will share their stories about whether it was distance they were having an issue with, or like a physical injury. And a lot of them are sharing their progress, and it's so inspiring. And for a lot of the new people that come into the app, especially, it breaks down the barriers for their mental side. They think, oh well, if John in America is doing it, maybe I can do it, and that person might be in Europe or in Australia, wherever they may be. So I find that really cool too.
Nice, nice. And I know you're not a nutritionist, but what you put in your body is another key pillar to how well you perform in life and also on the golf course. I know myself sometimes I find that I bonk out there at the 15th, 16th hole or the last, third of the round because I don't have the right snacks out there. Perhaps I haven't fueled my body part enough. And I feel it's nothing to do with endurance because the work that I do and the cardio that I actually get through the exercises, my endurance is pretty good. So it's not necessarily that, but I find that's an aspect that folds into me then losing physical energy, which then affects my mental focus capacity too. And then next thing you know, I go double, triple, double, and then it's like, what just happened? So, could you talk about that a little bit as far as the kind of the nutrition aspect of, at least I know it's not your focus, but obviously that's got to be something that's a key component of what you fold in also with what you do.
Yeah, 100%. And also, depends on your environment as well, like to a large degree. And
Mm,
I'll categorize hydration and nutrition in that same basket, what you're putting into the body, because I think a lot of people do get this wrong. So quite often, what I see is people will take a bottle of water with them, whether it's 600 milliliters to a liter. I'm not sure what that converts into in your side of the world in
Well,
gallons
tell our
or.
U.S. people, our friends that are joining us. See, in Canada, we do metric, so I got you. Our U.S. friends will be going now. What's that? I don't know what a liter is, but that's their problem. They can ask Siri to convert that for them, or Google.
That's it. Well, I guess typically it's not enough. They'll take a small bottle of water with them and expect that to last them the whole entire round. And
Right.
quite often, I'd get clients to almost quadruple it. So what a lot of sports science, and I refer to the Sports Australia's guidelines, they
Okay.
typically recommend a litre per hour of drinking water. And if it's obviously warmer, you need to increase that. If it's colder, obviously you're going to decrease that. A good rule of thumb is urine color. If it's clear, you're hydrated. If it's not, you're dehydrated. So that's
Right.
first and foremost. With that being said, as well, we want to make sure that we're replacing salts that we're losing when we're sweating. So that includes potassium, just your basic sodium, calcium. So that's where a lot of these hydration supplements will come in. So using like a sachet, there's so many different products out there. I really encourage clients to use those at least once around, typically at the turn, to make sure that they're refueling the muscles. And when it comes to nutrition, there's a great book called Whole in One Nutrition, which is
Okay.
by Dr. Robert Yang. He's part of TPI as one of their educators there. And what this book discusses is essentially sugar control and blood sugar control. When
Okay.
we're eating, our blood sugar will typically increase, and following that, we'll get this decrease. And what we want to avoid at golf is this big spiking of our blood sugar, because that's going to change our concentration levels. And we also want to reduce the decline, which is when you get hungry, Colin, when you have your double and your triple. So, so, and you're not alone. I had a shocker on the weekend as well, and I think it was due to my hunger as well. But when we are trying to manage this on course, we want to be using foods such as like bananas, good carbs, maybe rolled oats. We want
Mm,
to be eating often, but small as well.
right.
We don't want to stuff ourselves and feel that feeling of being really congested. We want that feeling of being energized, but not hyped as well. So I say to clients, pack in bananas, like trail mixes, protein bars, and eat them again every 3 to 4 holes.
So you're saying that double cheeseburger with bacon at the turn is after 9 holes is not what you recommend then? No, not so much. Maybe afterwards, or
Not
maybe not at all.
if you're going to have it, and I'm a big believer in balance. I believe if you've had a good round, you deserve your double cheeseburger, but not during the halfway.
No, no, that's yeah, the 10th hole might be a little rough with that. Hey, one thing I want to mention here, I just put it in comments here. So hey, if you want to sign up for your free 10-day training program with Billy, once again, there's the URL. So I put it in there. You can easily click on that. And yeah, like I said, I did that. I strongly encourage you to do that too. So the last couple of minutes here, I want to go back to the stage here. The one thing I found really interesting here, Billy, with the like I said, I've done 3 days of the 10-day program here. And to start off, even before I went into this, I figured, oh, is this going to be like half an hour every single day, or what is going to be? And it's going to be a lot of weights. So do I go to the gym? And the fact, what you've done here, you only need a couple things, and it'll kind of small on the screen here, but I happen to have one of these at home. But you can use a towel if you want. If you don't even have one of these, is a roller, and one of these, which everybody seems to have. No one has a golf club to do a lot of these exercises. And you're really focusing on stretches. Like, I won't play the videos, but you can see abductor stretch and the lumbar flexion and what we're doing here. And you've got in some of the other days here, I think today with a calf stretch exercise and the back openers here. So tell us a little bit about this. What is it that in those first 10 days that you're slowly trying to onboard people with? I haven't seen days 4 to 10 yet, but it seems like you're not focusing on weight training or resistance training yet. It's really about testing and starting to work on your mobility and flexibility. So is that correct? So tell us a little bit about how you've structured the program to onboard people so that they will do all 10 days and then hopefully continue on with you afterwards.
Yeah, it's a good point that you've referenced, and I guess being a physio for 8 or so years, I've heard a lot of different excuses. So this program in my head, I thought, what is the lowest barrier to entry? So I
Right.
thought it's going to be based on time, it's going to be based on equipment, it's going to be based on ease of use. So I was thinking about all of these things when I was structuring this, because I've written hundreds of exercise programs over the years, and these are the typical things that will come up in my head. So if someone jumps in the program, they find it easy to use, they find the exercise is beneficial, and they get this ball rolling, then typically they'll reach out for more. Whereas in my experience, if you give them too much to start with at one time, and they're getting the exercises wrong, or they don't feel like they're getting much value on it, they will start to drop
This
off.
is a stretch
So
time.
that's where my thought was. Let's start with stretches, and then we'll go from there. Funnily enough, I'm actually looking to launch a 4-day speed program in
Okay.
the new year. I've had my first group of clients that have come through there for free, which has been great. A lot of people have come on board and enjoyed that. But that's another free program I'll look at launching, which is a bit more strength-based exercises that you can do at home. But again, trying to keep the barrier of entry quite low.
Nice. Okay. Well, one of the last questions I wanted to ask you here, people that are joining us and are curious to join you, and they think, well, I really need to work on my strength, or I need to work on my flexibility, or they don't even maybe know where they need to start. Do you, what do you do when you onboard a client? Just kind of run us through that process of onboarding and the assessment that you have to see where someone is, and how you then, so I'm assuming that it's not a one size fits all. You talk to them about their goals and where they are physically and everything else in their life and their playing ability, I'm assuming. And yeah, so tell us about that, of what you do with a new client to set them up.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Colin. So the first step, on my website, you'll find a link there to book a call and do an application form. And as much as I'd like to admit I can help everyone, sometimes it doesn't always suit, whether that's they might be not suitable for online training, or maybe their time expectations are a little bit different.
Right.
So what I get clients to do is first fill out an application form. If that suits, we jump on a call. Like you said, we discuss their goals, what they want out of their training. And if I think they're a suitable fit, I'll bring them into my program. And I do try and take limited number of people, just so I can service everyone as best I possibly can. And if they do come on board, we do a brief 30-minute assessment, which one of your lucky Patreon members will be taking as well. So I look forward to meeting one of you soon. So I'll take them through this assessment, which is basically going through a TPI screening. We'll be looking at flexibility, core strength, power. We'll get a really good blueprint of where their body's at. And based off that blueprint, I'll build them their own custom program, which will be changing over the 12 weeks. So that's what the deliverables look like. And then every month we'll be jumping on a call to make sure it's all progressing in the right direction. And they'll get weekly messages from me to make sure they're staying on task. So it's a product that's changed over time, and it will continue to change. But I think it's in a decent spot, and people are getting some great outcomes.
Love this. Love this. And I did see one of the comments you made, I think just on one of the responses back since I onboarded, is giving some kind of validation of the feedback that you've had from your clients. And you've got a big enough data set now that you found that over time, or even the 12-week program and beyond that, on average, your clients are reducing their handicap by 2.5 strokes, which I can certainly use. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It's been really cool. And again, being a perfectionist, I like the data, right? And I guess because I try and provide this service, I need to charge a price for this as well, to
Yes.
make sure that it suits both me and my client. So with that, if they're investing in me, I say I'm going to be investing back in you to get you a result. And if they aren't making a result or getting the result they want, I'm not happy with it. So I'm constantly trying to, again, fine tune this so they're getting the best possible outcome. So something I'm really proud of.
Nice, nice. Okay, I want to finish up here with a couple of success stories. Who is the oldest aged client that you either currently had or have had over the last couple of years?
I would say at the moment, I've got a client by the name of Paul. He lives in Sydney. I've not met him before. So again, this is breaking the barrier of people saying I'm too old to use these online apps.
Right.
He must be 79, Paul, and we've been training together for a year. He signed up for another year in 2025, so that will be taking us through to 2 years.
Nice.
And he's had hip replacements, knee replacements, but he loves his fitness and gets after it. So yeah, he's probably my oldest client.
Nice, nice. And how many female clients do you have? Can you tell us some success stories of, and is that a kind of a different dynamic as far as getting them comfortable and getting them on board? We already mentioned some of the, as women age, some of the physical changes that affect not only their bodies but also their golf game. So talk about or at least one example of an awesome story you've had of success with one of your female clients.
Yeah, definitely. And with my female clients, I'd say that's probably 10 to 15% of my clients.
Okay.
And a recent story that comes to mind was Rebecca. She was a local in Brisbane that reached out to me that was suffering with quite a lot of back stiffness and back
Mm.
pain, and also was struggling to get the ball further off the tee. So we worked with her, got some good understanding of how her balance and her stability was quite poor. She's in her 40s, has 2 kids, quite busy professionally. So we created her a really streamlined program she could do a few days a week for 30 minutes. And then from there, she was sending me messages that she was out driving her kids every now and then. So that was that was cool to see as well.
Nice, nice. Well, I know you're gracious enough to give away things for free to get people on board to start that relationship with your 10-day training program. But to finish up, because we talk about back pain or back discomfort, and a lot of people have that as they get older. We got the sedentary lifestyle, and COVID certainly didn't help that, of being sat in chairs for so long and people just working in offices and around computers like you and I are doing right now, that affects our hips and the tightness and all that good stuff. So, or bad stuff in this case here. So to finish up here, why don't you, maybe you want to stand up and demonstrate, I don't know, but why don't you give, because it's all about threes, why don't you give 3 exercises our viewers that are experiencing back pain / mobility issues because of that you can recommend?
Yeah, I'd say if you're sitting at a desk, let's try and give you 3 exercises to start with. So I think something really simple you can do is just practice your upper back rotations. So trying to turn each way. This is going to help with our upper back. And quite often I see the lower back be the side of pain, but not necessarily where the cause comes from. The lower back is typically the piggy in the middle. So we want to stretch the joints above and below. So that's first is going to be the upper back stretch. I think second can be a hip internal rotation stretch. I do have my gym shorts on, so excuse me for being in my holiday mode. So I'm going to get up here.
It's all good.
So I'm going to go into a stretch. I'm going to be facing the camera here. My right leg's going to come in front and my left arm's going to reach towards the ceiling. So this is going to stretch my left hip pocket. My butt's going backwards and I'm trying to turn up. That's number 2. And then number 3 is going to be a back extension. You'll put a golf club behind you or even your hands, and you're just gradually trying to arch. So what these stretches are all fighting is what we're doing every day. So we're sitting, we're in a flex position, we're in a position where our hips are in a shortened position as well. So we're essentially trying to reverse all of those changes to open up those joints in the spine there.
There we go. An early Christmas present for all of our viewers out there. And if they're watching afterwards on the ModGolf YouTube channel, it's a good way to start off their new year. So, Billy, I want to thank you for joining us here to end the year strong on ModGolf Live here. I got to continue on even through Christmas between between, I don't know, morning mimosas and goodness knows what we're going to eat all day the next couple of days. But I will still power through. I promise you, even Christmas Day, I will do, because you made it easy with 5 minutes there. With that'll be day 5 that I do here. Who knows? Maybe we need to create something. We'll talk about this. We don't want to promise anything or put you on the spot, but maybe we need to do something called, I don't know, the Colin Project, where maybe we do a 12-week program and we can do that on the YouTube channel. Just spitballing here, but maybe there's something there that we can work. But we'll start with the 10-day and we'll go from there. So hey, why don't we finish up there once again? Billy Troy, who is a golf physiotherapist and fitness trainer with Golf Physiotherapy Australia. Such a pleasure. Love this.
Colin,
So thanks for joining us all on ModGolf Live, Billy. Have a great Christmas. Happy New Year. And I have a feeling you and I are going to be talking again very soon.
I appreciate it, Colin. Merry Christmas to you and your family, and to all of your listeners, mate. I very much appreciate the ability to come on. So thank you very much.
You are welcome. All right. You take care. Talk soon.
Thank you.